Totally unbelievable. This is a new music video from Taylor Swift called Willow. And as you can see here in this picture, it's just outright satanic rituals. Just not even hiding it anymore. They're just... just out in the open. This is a group of witches, Satanists, dancing round a fire in the woods.
Such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth, and wipeth her mouth, and saith, I have done no wickedness.
Unfortunately, due to copyright, all I can do is I can just scan through it like this. But the video starts off with Taylor Swift here. There's a lot of outward meanings to do with her career and exoteric things which we're not looking at here today. There's other videos on YouTube that cover some of those signs and symbols that she's put in there to do with her own career. But what we're showing here is that this is actually, when you look at it more clearly, is Luciferian Gnostic propaganda. So she starts off and she has this golden thread which she follows through the piano, through the door, onto the other side of the veil. Now, what does this golden thread, why has she got a golden thread? What does that represent in the Gnostic world? Well, this is a Gnostic website, so this is of the enemy camp. This is not what we believe here at RSE, but this is what they believe in Gnosticism, the false religion. The golden thread is a representation of your intuition, the inner voice that is always gently whispering to you that sometimes you choose to ignore, that perhaps you have shut down so much that it stopped trying to talk to you anymore. This is the higher self, the higher conscious level of yourself that comes straight from the source and flows directly from the universe. Absolutely crazy stuff. When you are following that golden thread, it allows you to be truly on your path and in your purpose. So following the golden thread. So we've got this reference to Sophia here, of the Gnostics, of the false wisdom. In Greek mythology, the queen Pasiphae gave her son of Zeus the magical thread to assist him on his heroic journey into the labyrinth. The labyrinth is representative of life. So this is clearly Gnostic symbolism. So you can see here that there's a reason that she's doing this. So she goes through the door into the other side of the veil and she comes through a tree. She's following the golden thread. You see there, she's following the golden thread. Now there's a tree around her. What kind of tree is that? That's a willow tree. The weeping willow tree. What significance does the willow tree have, and how does that give us a clue into what this video is actually truly representing? We look into the willow tree symbolism, and you can see here it's believed that the first weeping willow actually grew in Babylon of the Bible, where the Israelites were taken into slavery. So this gives us a connection to Babylon. Babylon. Why Babylon? Because she's playing the goddess Semiramis. There's more clues as to why she's playing Semiramis in a second. So she's following the golden thread. She comes to the edge of the pool. She looks in, and there she is with her, which would be, in the story of Semiramis in the mystery religions of Babylon, Nimrod, the wife of Nimrod, and the mother. So this is Nimrod Tammuz's figure, and this is a love story between the two of them. Yeah, it's gross, but see how they're both in love there together. And the golden thread, if you notice, is going into the reflection pool here. and she desperately wants to be with him, but he's like a mirage. So she puts her hand in, she moves the water, he's not really there. So this is making you yearn for them to be together, and you'll see that throughout the whole video. But so she's looking in, she follows the golden thread, and she jumps into the pool. Not only is this just like a normal jump into the pool, but if you notice, it's almost like she is a sea creature. The way she, like a fish, the way she does that, like an amphibious creature, which someone noted in the comments of the Taylor Swift video. You know, someone secular that's just noticing watching the video. They're like, she looks an awful lot like a fish, an amphibious creature, when she jumps in there, the way she does that into the pool. Now, what possible connection could that have? Who is Semiramis? And if you go down to the bottom of this paragraph, you see that according to another tradition, Semiramis was the daughter of a goddess. She had mermaid-like features, with the head of a woman and the body of a fish. Semiramis, both Nimrod's wife and mother. So she jumps in like a mermaid, like an amphibious creature. So we've got another link to Semiramis. So this being the story of Semiramis and Tammuz, following the golden thread. I'm not going to go through it all, but it goes back to their childhood. It's like this romance story following the golden thread through. In this scene, you know, she's trapped. Of course, this has got parallels to celebrity life, as exposed in other videos. You know, just that there's alternate exoteric views of what's going on here in terms of Taylor Swift's life narrative itself. Interesting symbolism going on here. The man of fire, which is Nimrod, because he's the sun god. In an effort to retain power and to hide her misdeeds, Semiramis makes a most audacious claim. She publicly declares that upon Nimrod's death, he had been resurrected as the god of the sun, as the sun god. Nimrod used his sun rays to miraculously inseminate Semiramis with a child. This child was considered to be divinely conceived. The child's name was Tammuz, which she claimed was the reincarnated Nimrod. Thus Semiramis was both Nimrod's wife and mother. The man of fire. This is who it is. The sun god. So you see how they come together? She's trapped in that cube there, and they want to be together, but they can't. They're getting the audience to yearn for these two to be reunited. In this world, they are not together. And she's trapped, and she looks down, and there's a trapdoor in the cube, which the golden thread is leading down into the underworld. You see there how she's looking down into the underworld. She looks at the camera with a little smirk, and it's like this is the way for them to be reunited, down this rabbit hole here into the underworld. And the golden thread goes down there, and then we open in this scene where she's all cloaked up, looking like the goddess Diana. Now, we're going to look quickly here. Why is she dressed like this? Is just like the goddess Diana. Look at the, very similar to this costume here, the moon goddess Diana, with this cloak on. You see how it's very similar cloak to this depiction of Semiramis? Well, Semiramis, just on a side note, is all of these goddesses represent her. Goddess of love, Venus, Aphrodite, goddess of hunting and childbirth, Diana, Artemis, Minerva, Athena, Ceres, Demeter, Terra, Gaia, Juno, Hera, Vesta, etc., etc. These are all different names for the same goddess, and it all comes back to Semiramis of Babylon. So you see how they all tie in together, and she looks very similar to this. So this is like Goddess Diana. This is a complete ritual, what we're going into now, and you'll see it's to bring them back together. This ritual is to reunite them, as we see at the end of the video. Because they've been separated all this time. She's been yearning to be together with him. And we see them all come into the picture, all in hoods, complete coven, satanic ritual, dancing around this fire and ice, in the middle of the woods. Notice here that this is being done at night. At night, this has been done. Remember the symbolism. She talks in the lyrics here about this being done in the dark. So, and as they do this, you see what's going on here. You see how this is just blatant witchcraft, and this in the center grows these flames. Remember, Nimrod was to do with the sun and fire. You see how fire is associated with the sun. So this is a complete resurrection ritual, a love spell, perhaps. I don't know exactly what the reason is, but you see how they're all dancing round, and this thing grows over time. Very similar. You see these little orbs, or baubles, or orbs on this flame. Very similar to the sun representation on the Vatican tree here, because this is like a tree. This is like a tree. This has got something to do with the sun god worship. Tammuz, Nimrod. They're conjuring something up. I mean, this is like a magical thing. This is magic. And it's witchcraft. That engaging openly in witchcraft is not even hidden anymore. This coven here, which we're seeing, is just out in the open, with Taylor Swift conjuring up this spell, dressed as the goddess Diana. And then she notices that this golden thread is coming away from this fire. So this is what this is all linked to. So it's leading her on again. So she's going to follow the golden thread from this ritual, this Illuminati ritual. Everyone's wearing masks here apart from her. So she follows this golden thread, and it leads her down this road in the middle of the woods here. In the Bible, a lot of the rituals, the witchcraft, took place in the grove symbolism. In fact, there was grove symbolism back here. You see how she is in the grove here? Same thing. She's playing that goddess figure. So as Diana now, she comes away following the golden thread. You see the full moon, the witching hour, but the moon is associated with the goddess Diana, which we see her standing on the moon there, on the crescent moon. But I'm pretty convinced that this is to do with the goddess Diana, which of course again is Semiramis, and this romantic story between Semiramis and Nimrod, Tammuz, her son and her husband. So she follows that through, the golden thread through, and you realise that he is actually at this ritual. He unmasks himself. She comes back through the doorway from the other side of the veil, following the golden thread. And she comes back in, and she is then reaches the end of the thread, and she's reunited with him. He's now manifested on the other side of the veil, straight after that ritual. This ritual is what results in him coming back, because it's directly after that she follows the golden thread from here back through. And you see how they're reunited here. And they come through the gate. They're reunited and they come through the gate. They finally are able to physically be in each other's presence, and the gate opens, IXXI, because the sun and moon, the sun, remember the fire represents the sun, and then we've got the moon, that's IXXI, the sun 11, the moon 9. Without going too deep into their symbology, the sun 11 and the moon 9, that's 9/11, IXXI, and they're coming through the gate. They're reunited, Nimrod, Semiramis. They come through the gate together. And this video also represents the different seasons. It goes through spring, summer, autumn, winter. Just on a side note, but there is exoteric things going on here to do with Taylor Swift's life, which obviously all the fans are rallying around. This is a wonderful story of Taylor Swift's career, and she's showing us all these things, all these insightful things about her relationships and her career and all of this. That's the excuse that's given. But really, this, as you can see from that fire scene, this is a ritual. And it's Illuminati. It's full of the Gnosticism, following the golden thread. But also that there's these links to Semiramis and Nimrod, the goddess, worship, and manifesting them through the veil. That's what this all comes down to, when it's at its real, explicit meaning. That's what this is representing. And it's willow tree, the first willow tree in Babylon. So it all links together. Confess with your mouth the Lord is Jesus. Believe in your heart that God has risen him from the dead, and you shall be saved. We are surrounded by paganism, by witchcraft, by Luciferian propaganda. Don't be blind to the reality in which we live, and the reality of Jesus Christ, who came to save us from our sins. Turn to him, repent and believe. God bless.